Welcome back to Mad Props, another episode of Mad Props. Thank you all for listening today. Sorry for the late episode of Mad Props. It's been quite the last couple days. Or last week, I guess I should say. Before we get into all that, make sure you follow us on social media at Mad Props Pod on Instagram and Facebook, and at Schnabel Studios everywhere else. That's at Schnabel Studios on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. Anywhere you're going to get your social media, you're going to find Schnabel Studios. We're posting a lot of really cool stuff. We've had a lot of really cool shoots. I can't wait to talk about some of them soon that are coming up, and I can't wait to talk about the ones that have already happened. It's going to be a lot of really fun stuff there. This episode is going to basically just be one big announcement. I have one huge announcement that I want to talk about, want to get off my chest, want to let everybody know. And that's really all it's going to be. It's not going to be a crazy episode. I have a bunch of stuff planned for the episode, but after how this week went, I basically just want to talk about this one thing the entire time and then go. So I'm going to, because obviously if you are listening right now, you don't know, but if you're on YouTube, you see it's an audio only episode, which this is because I'm in New York. I am kind of short on time with all the stuff I've been doing in New York, and I really want to get the episode out. So it's an audio only at this point. But let me set the scene for you. I am in one of my old bedrooms, actually my sister's old room, laying on the bed with my Zoom recorder plugged in and my microphone in my face. And just laying here talking. That is how the podcast is going. There's no elaborate setup. There's no tables. I'm laying in a bed talking through everything that's about to go on. So I don't have any show notes. I have nothing right now. I really just want to talk. I just want to talk about the future and talk about what's coming up next and all that stuff. So that's what we're basically going to get into right now. We're just going to go right into it. This could end up being a 10-minute episode. This could end up being an hour and a half long episode, somewhere in between. It's either going to be really short or really long because it's really just a life update. And it's a Mad Props update as well because it's a Schnabel Studios update. And it's really exciting for me, but here we go. So I have recently left my full-time job to freelance with Schnabel Studios as a job. So Schnabel Studios, for people that don't know, it's not just the production studio for this podcast. It's actually overall more than that. It's way more than that. Schnabel Studios is my video production and social media company that I've been doing for years. Offstage has been a part of that. These podcasts have been a part of that, all this. So it's all part of the Schnabel Studios, brand. But this podcast does fall into it. But recently I've been getting a lot of really good opportunities, and I can't wait next week to talk about one of them because it was an unbelievable opportunity, which we'll talk about next week. But I've been getting a lot more opportunities. I've been really finding more places to freelance, and it's been taking up a lot more time. And, if I really work this thing out right, the money can also be pretty good in this situation as well. So I decided to pack up my stuff and give him my 2 weeks and move on to this next part of my journey. And if anybody is listening from there, from my old job, that's really what the big mover was. It was just the right time to do it overall for me, and I'm very excited about this opportunity, and I can't wait to move on to this thing that I've been trying to do for years. I've been trying to do my own freelance work since I got out of college in 2015, and it just never really worked out. And now, not only do I have that 10 years experience and experience with different teams and different companies and all this other stuff, but I have the experience, or I have the technology as well. Like, I have the camera equipment, I have the audio equipment, I have the lighting, I have everything that I need to make a really successful production. So it's just an exciting time, and I can't really explain it anything other than that. But so with all that being said, We've had a lot of really cool shoots, and what does that mean for this podcast, right? Well, I think that this podcast can now be taken to the next level. The reason I say that is because look where we are. Look where we are with this with where we're going to be. We're going to be working really hard on things outside, doing our video and stuff like that. But now this podcast can really get the love it deserves and the love it used to get. About a year ago when I really started doing the social media, it got a lot of love. And I think we're going to just have more of a consistent schedule, more guests, better timing, not doing it hours later like I'm doing now. And for people that don't know, I am recording this on the Wednesday and it'll come out on Wednesday. So it's just really exciting stuff that's going on there. But we should be able to build more and more on this podcast because we're going to have not the time, but the energy to put into it. And we're going to be able to find the places where it fits best. So I think it's exciting for this podcast. I think the future of this podcast is looking really bright, and I'm just really excited about that. I feel like this is about as far as I can go with all this update. I'm really happy about it. I'm really excited for what's going to happen next. This is exactly why I didn't record before. Between the travel and everything going on in my personal life right now with this stuff, I really didn't have time. Other times it's like I'm working or something came up, but this time, this is the time I had to record this podcast. And it's a time in between me getting off work and me getting ready to go somewhere. It's not like I had a ton of time to do this. And I don't think it's going to be... I think there's more of an update episode now that I'm thinking about it. But I'll still count it as an episode because it's probably going to be about 10 minutes. I do want to say before I get off and before I let everybody go, and I hope everybody listens and enjoys and all that fun stuff. But before I go, I didn't mention it in the beginning, but make sure you vote for Mad Props in the podcast awards. Voting wraps up soon. It wraps up next week, I believe. The middle of next week it wraps up. So this is the last time I can really promote myself for it. We have been nominated for 3 podcast awards, and it's been all over our social media. It's been all over everything that we do because we really want people to go vote. And the reason we want people to go vote is to get the recognition we think we deserve. It's a one-man show, but it's really everyone that listens is part of that. It's not a one-man show. It's a everyone that's here man show. And getting that recognition would mean so much, especially now with this new move of really focusing on stuff like this podcast. It would really mean a ton to be able to say not only is Mad Props, great in my eyes, but it's actually award nominated or it's award winning, which would be unbelievable. So podcastawards.com, go to the Society and Culture. We're nominated for Best in Society and Culture. We're nominated for the People's Choice for Best Podcast, and we're nominated for Best Male Host. And let's see if we can get, a couple of awards, at least one, right? At least one finalist. That'd be amazing. But you can go do that. And it's in all our bios and it's all our stuff. And I just feel like I had to bring it up before the end of this episode because I didn't bring it up at the beginning of the episode. But go to our Instagram or Facebook at Mad Props Pod, or go to Schnabel Studios on anything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter /X, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. Go to a bio, go to a recent post. It's all over the place. You can find podcastawards.com, the link, and go vote because we really appreciate it. It would mean the world to just cast a vote. And I know it's tough to cast a vote because they make you register. You only get one vote. So it's not like something I can go in and vote 10,000 times for myself. I can vote once for myself, and then it's up to the fan base, and hopefully people are listening and going to do it. And that's all we can hope for. So that's really the end of my update. It's about a 10-minute episode, so you get some time back this week. Sorry it's such a short episode. I'm telling you now, right now, next week is not going to be such a short episode because we are really going to start ramping up, and it's going to be starting next week. And I'm hoping to get a guest next week. I can't guarantee that, but the week after that, we're gonna be back in full swing. So I'm very excited to get started again. I'm very excited to keep going again. I'm very excited to ramp up again. I'm very excited to share this all with you. I'm very excited for the future of Schnabel Studios, the future of Mad Props, the future for myself. And it's a scary road to be going down, and I'm nervous about it. I'm worried about it, but I'm also excited and proud. And and can't wait to get to that next step. So thank you all for listening to Mad Props. I really appreciate you being here. If you want to drop us a comment, drop us a follow. Definitely follow Schnabel Studios if you don't already on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, because now we're going to be building it up a lot more so we can use every follower we can get. So if you made it this far in the podcast, Schnabel Studios, at Schnabel.studios on Instagram, at Schnabel Studios on everything else, Schnabel. Give us a follow. We really appreciate it because we're trying to build it. We're trying to build something here, and we want you to be a part of it. So, all right. That's all I really have for today. Sorry, it's only a 10-minute episode. I mean, you get some time back if you get to listen. Hopefully you listened all the way through, and we love you all. Okay. Thank you for listening. This has been Mad Props.